All right, let's go to this next email. Aren't you embarrassed? My brain skipped because I got Sebastian Maniscalco in my head. Aren't you embarrassed? Aren't you embarrassed by your low number of subs and views? It's like, no, not at all. I've been doing this for like 7 years now, 5, 7 years. I don't know. I lose track of time. The older you get, the less you care about how long you've been doing something. Yeah, 110 subscribers right now, I think. First of all, it's easy to remember the exact number of how many subscribers I got. Second of all, I mean, it's my self-esteem is not wrapped up in like my subscriber count or my views or the number of patrons I have. If I had enough patrons just to survive, I'd be happy to quit my job and do this more often. Maybe do two shows a week, if not more. If I had enough patrons, I'd rather do that. I'd rather do this as what makes money, and it doesn't take a whole lot of patrons. A few dozen, and I could quit my job. A few dozen patrons, and I could quit my job and do this more often. Provide more content for the patrons behind the scenes, behind the paywall. So I mean, my self-esteem isn't wrapped up. I don't want to go viral. I mean, it sounds like a nightmare to go viral. It sounds like a nightmare to be famous. If some podcaster or YouTuber like myself, gets caught up in some story, news story, next thing you know, you got to have like secure, like look at Tim Pool. You're a podcaster. You start from the bottom, and like this is what I respect about Tim Pool is like start at the bottom, and you work your way to this point. You have Conway West on your show, storming off, and you're the center of news stories for a while and stuff like that. What a nightmare. Next thing you know, he's got people like shooting up his property and stuff like that. He's been swatted a bunch of times. He has to hire personal security. Sounds like a nightmare to become rich, famous. I'd rather just make a meager living doing this off the love of a few patrons and, go unnoticed by society for the rest of my life. That's fine with me. I grew up in the 80s. I'm Generation X. I'm used to being ignored. Anyway. Yeah, and when it comes to friends, it's about quantity. No, it's about quality, not quantity.